On March 28, 2025, President Xi Jinping warmly met with global business leaders, encouraging them to deepen their presence in China and invest in the future. During the meeting, President Xi noted that foreign businesses and investment in China have driven economic growth and employment, boosted technological and managerial progress, and facilitated reform and opening up. All of this shows that foreign businesses are important participants in the Chinese modernization drive, in the country's reform, opening, and innovation, and in its interconnectivity with the world and integration into economic globalization. In this process, foreign businesses have thrived and generally enjoyed handsome returns, achieved win-win results, and forged profound friendship with the Chinese people.
Dr. Bush, it's a great pleasure having you joining us here on Leaders Talk, and welcome to China. And I heard just a few hours before our interview, you attended a meeting which was held by President Xi with the leaders of multinational companies. And you were there, we heard, sitting right on the opposite side with President Xi. So how do you feel about the meeting, and what are some of the key messages delivered there?
I'm feeling that this is really a genuine opinion of the president, that he wants to really keep a stable policy in order to, of course, create an environment where you dare to invest. Yes. So it's also, he talked also about the stabilization of the supply chain and also the deployment of the new quality forces, which is super important, and which is all about technology coming into the manufacturing space in particular. So from us, it was encouraging. We are very much in sync what was said and what we hopefully can contribute to the country.
And during the meeting, President Xi also shared some of his personal feelings about the years that he worked in Fujian and about his experiences of dealing with multinational companies. How did you feel with him?
This was very interesting. He always, when somebody was speaking, he always replied with a personal note. During his time in Fujian, for example, his time in Shanghai, visiting the plants of companies, but also visiting some of the headquarters of companies abroad. It was always a kind of a reflection of what his personal relationship with their respective company and speaker was, which is very, very interesting. It's a very positive signal, I would say.
Did you get a chance to talk to other foreign executives about their feedback of the meeting?
Yeah, similar. They were very much impressed again about this personal engagement of the president and the whole message which was wrapped around an open market, which is really happy to accept more investments on the one side and also a contribution. I think he mentioned also, by the way, the Belt and Road Initiative, right, which is an initiative from China, which is supposed to really contribute to the global economy at the same time.
And you have spoken highly before about the Belt and Road Initiative, which was a great idea proposed by President Xi. How do you understand its significance?
This is first and foremost an infrastructure project, but also a project that brings a kind of value to developing countries at the same time and connecting them. So trade and the importance of an open market is super important. And I would say that the Belt and Road Initiative stands for that, which is against protectionism, and this helps global economies growing faster, which is super important, also to get people out of poverty.
Dr. Bush, you have met with President Xi a couple of times before, and especially this time after even closer engagement with him. What is your understanding and your impression of President Xi as a leader?
I think he's genuinely taking care about the people in the country. He talked about the average life expectancy, how it's increasing. He talked about bringing people out of poverty, so that the real poverty is basically over. You still have a way to develop, but this is something what I believe is very close to his heart.
What are some of the takeaways that you have now might influence your decision here in the Chinese market? Some of the spirit, some of the messages, maybe some of the hints of developments that you think might be helpful in the landscape and the development in this market?
So for us, it's just underlining and supporting what we do. So we are in this country for more than 150 years now. We have 30,000 people counting, so we're increasing that. We have 5,000 people in research and development, I think 12,000 active patents. So I'm just encouraged to continue our strategy of developing more and more products, local for local, eventually also have an opportunity to go global and leverage on the potential of the market, but also the people in the market, which is super relevant. He talked, for example, also about what government does in order to really make it easier for companies. One example, which is very close to our heart, is cross-border traveling of data, which is super relevant. If you want to deploy AI technologies and digitalization, you need to share data.
So when you listen to that information, you quickly picked up.
Very closely, very closely. You bet, you bet.
Well, Dr. Bush, as the co-chair of the 2025 China Development Forum, you delivered a speech at the opening ceremony praising China's continued effort to expand high-level opening up and foster a level playing field. For all those years, what do you think are some of the major opportunities and benefits provided by the Chinese government to Siemens?
So in my speech, I said that the world is in the midst of a huge transformation for many reasons. You can talk geopolitics, for example. It's about a war. It's about the COVID showing the fragility of supply chains, and it's technology, which is rolling so fast, and AI technology in particular. So, and this transformation requires companies, but also economies, countries to change. And my observation is, if I read also the last two sessions, right, and what was done in the last years, that China, like Siemens does, is also changing its operating system, the way how it works. It goes deep, the reform go deeper, and you can see it also from this deploying of high quality productive resources is something where you really, it meant to us, it's really deploying technology deeply in an economy which is, again, changing so fast. The second point, which I said, is that we see that the efforts to create a level playing field and an open market, we see it clearly. It's year by year, it's a step forward. Maybe the third and very interesting message which I made is that China surprises us.
That's exactly something that I want to ask you, because yes, you did. You praised China's advancement in artificial intelligence and highlighting breakthroughs such as AI as evidence. And I believe what you said originally was, and I quote here, China surprises us with innovations. So Dr. Bush, in what way do you think China's innovative advancement has surprised you, hopefully in a pleasant way?
Yeah.
And what new opportunities or emerging opportunities with Chinese market do you foresee in China's drive towards digitalization and modernization as well?
Yeah, exactly. So when I said that, obviously everybody was talking about or thinking about DeepSeek. My message was a little bit more subtle. I said that China surprises us with innovation, and DeepSeek is maybe the tip of the iceberg, but there are so many other innovations which are happening. Think about battery manufacturing. I mean, the best battery is coming from China, so this is huge innovation which was driven out of China. Think about the car industry. The cars the local car makers, they made a step up and they produce brilliant cars for a very, very competitive price with functions and features which you don't maybe find in other places. So therefore, it goes deeper. We also see innovation in the supply chain, machine builders and the like. So therefore, and DeepSeek, of course, was a kind of a total surprise that a company can develop with low budget models which are matching to the performance of the top markets, the top models in the world. So that was a surprise which came to many, many people. But again, for me, it's more than that.
Apart from the surprises that you observed, do you see new opportunities and potentials together, or for your company, together with China's rise in artificial intelligence?
So we say China is, meanwhile, one of the most innovative markets. So it's the fitness center, so to speak, for our developers and for innovation. So it's the size of the market itself. Remember, China is, if it comes to the industrial GDP, China claims 30% of the global industrial GDP, so it's a market you cannot get around if you're in the automation space. And number two is, again, the demand from our customers is really on a high level. So it's not just cheap products, it's really innovative product for, at the same time, a competitive price. So therefore, you really, if you want to make it globally, I do believe you have to make your point in China as well.
And you also highlighted China's new quality productive forces. How do you understand its significance?
So here comes a very interesting element of this development. Number one is it's all about really deploying technology. Technology, which is it's automating, it's digitalizing, is helping very much to really keep the momentum in the China's marking up, to keep their growth expectations on that high level. This is the reason why we launched our Siemens Accelerator platform, which is an open platform, which allows to sell our products digitally.
And you launched it at the China International Import Expo in 2022. How do you think, aligned with China's efforts in promoting the digitalization of the SMEs, how can Siemens play a role in this changing landscape?
Yeah, this is exactly that. We have the technology. I mean, we have the most comprehensive portfolio to build digital twins. So, and digital twins are not only look like the real thing, they behave like the real thing in the real world. So when you shake it, when you drop it, when you expose it to water, or even when you run a software on it, we can simulate everything. So we create a fully fledged physical-based digital twin. And this helps companies to accelerate their development time, develop better products, but also leverage this technology in the manufacturing space, so it can drive productivity, reduce your footprint, also your energy consumption. Since this technology, we want to spread it to many, many companies, also smaller ones. And we are building an ecosystem of integration companies, so they help deploying the technology on the shop floor if the companies don't have the capabilities.
Dr. Bush, you also emphasized once that withdrawing from the Chinese market was not an option. That was even at a time when your company was under tremendous pressure to divert away from it. So what made you so determined and committed to engage with the Chinese market?
Number one, it's one of our largest market. And number two, it's developing into the most innovative markets. So you have to play there in order to stay competitive. And last but not least, it's the people. It's amazing, the people which we have here in the company, their passion, their dedication, but also their competence in develop products in absolute super fast speed. That's amazing. Why wouldn't I not tap on this potential?
At the headquarters of Siemens China, a Hall of Honor chronicles the company's milestones in China.
Oh, this is
our Chengdu.
Chengdu. This is
a landmark project.
This is a landmark. It's a World Economic Forum lighthouse project. It's one of the most digitalized plants in the world. It's Industry 4.0, as it says. Yes. So and it's basically deploys all technologies which we have, and it's fully automated. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat.
Oh, that was CIIE. I think Siemens has take part in each and every CIIE every year, right?
Sure.
In 2018 and
Nanjing.
2022.
So this is a very special one. Nanjing is exactly what I explained to you before. Before the first excavation machine was doing the stuff, we made it fully digital. We made a digital version of that plant, 20% less energy, 25% higher productivity, a huge amount of higher flexibility, so we can change products. So you're really pushing the limits of a plant if you do it that way. And now comes the beauty. Since we have this digital twin, we keep it alive. So it means when we change something, when we want to put a new robot on the line, we can simulate it first, and then stop the line maybe for a day and not for a week. Normally do that for a week. You bring it in and you run it. So it's extremely powerful and showcased in Nanjing.
An interesting information or knowledge that many people are not aware is that Siemens has been operating in China. You mentioned before, over 150 years, with the original partnership began, I think, in 1870s. And this is the letter of the founder,
Yes.
wrote to his brother about his idea, right?
Yes.
I think
Exactly.
so. Now, after over 100 years, and with profound changes taking place in global landscape, how do you portray the role of Chinese market in your global landscape?
So what Werner von Siemens, our founder, was writing here in this letter to his brother, he
Yes.
says he believes that this is a market which needs technology also and products from Siemens. One of the first electric trams in China was provided by Siemens technology. So therefore, it was from the very beginning a focus on the Chinese market as well. And we kept on going. So for me, the point is, if you are in a country for 150 years, I believe you're part of it. This is how we at Siemens feel, that we are part of this economy, of the society, embedded, deeply embedded and rooted. And so it's another dimension which goes beyond the sheer size of a market, which goes beyond the growth potentials or the profitability expectations you make. Is really being part of a society, fully embedded, and that's something what makes, I believe, also the Chinese market for Siemens in particular very different.
Right. And as the head of a multinational company who has operated here in China for over 150 years, and as someone who had actually first-hand experiences working in the country, what has been your personal observation and feelings about China's efforts in high-quality, high-level opening up process?
So it is a process, as you said. It's now maybe with a strategy of deploying new quality productive forces. It's just an extension on what we saw over the many years. I lived in China, it's more than 10 years ago, and I lived in China, and I saw that already coming. It started off in basically China being the workbench for the world. Just taking any products and manufacture them local in China with lower cost. And over the years, obviously, the companies working in China, include the international ones, the local ones, they acquired technology knowledge and own technologies. And you see an extension. It's boosted now because technology is changing so fast. So therefore, it's a completely right strategy to put more emphasis on that.
Well, speaking of this connection with China, because you work here in China from 2005
to
to 2007, that was about 20 years ago. What insights did you gain back then that really influenced your approach of doing business here in China?
Let me share an anecdote. At that time, I was responsible for our automotive business.
Yes.
And then my guys came to me and said, look, navigation systems, they are now entering the market in China, but we don't have a product which is market fit. So we were already here with radios, and this was a very successful business of ours. And they said, I cannot sell a navigation system for 5,000 euro into a car which costs 5,000 euros. This is not really a good idea. So we need to really substantially go with our cost down. Then I said, then develop one. They looked at me and whether I'm serious or not.
From scratch?
From scratch. And then I said, okay, here's the deal. I give you, I think at that time it was 600,000 euros to develop a prototype within 9 months, which I can drive, and if it works, then we will kick it off, and we will
mass production.
Go for mass production. They didn't say yes in the first place. They said, okay, let's think about it. So they went off my office. 2 weeks later, there was 2 guys, one for manufacturing and one for engineering.
And they're Chinese.
Absolutely. And they came back and said, deal done. So, and they got the 600,000 and they're working on it. I didn't hear anything about it. After 3 or 4 months, I was calling them to my office and saying, what are you doing? Where are you?
Yes.
And they said, don't worry, we will handle that. Okay. I mean, it was even not 9 months. It was 8 months later. They came back and put a navigation system on my table. They said, this is our prototype. Give it a try. I gave it to my driver. He loved it. It had, I have to say, it once in a while a reset, which is all fine. It was a prototype, but it worked perfectly. And the point was, functional-wise, And cost-wise, so the pricing, it was really hitting perfectly to the frame which I was giving. Yes. And then I said, okay, green light. Now you can bid on these products, and they won all large tenders in the next 1 or even 2 years. They really rocked the market.
What are your learnings? What were your feelings or takeaways about, as you said, the Chinese dynamics, maybe in this working process? It was clearly a culture shock at the beginning, right?
Yeah, I would not call it a shock. It was a
very different.
Cultural party, so to speak. No, I mean, number one learning is empowerment. You have to empower people, but empowerment is you have to be very careful. It's not anarchy. It's about you give a strategy, you give a way going forward, and then you empower your people. It's a two-way street, because empowerment means you give trust.
Right.
On the other side, the people say, I'm now accountable in order to deliver.
Your very insightful observation and understanding of technology, of development, and also those first-hand experiences working in China. And you also actually come to China every year, like 5 to 6 times, that's what I heard. Yeah. What is your understanding of the uniqueness of China's modernization?
I think it's the combination of a very demanding market, the innovation strengths, as I said before. But let me add one more element in it. It's the entrepreneurial spirit of the people. And this is such a very interesting combination. I would even say maybe Chinese people have an entrepreneurial
spirit,
or even DNA to some extent.
Dr. Bush, I also heard that you have a special China room in your home, showcasing lots of items that you collected that are relevant with the Chinese culture. Very impressive, I would say.
Yeah.
And so can you maybe share with us a couple of them that you felt are most meaningful? Yes.
So first and foremost, this is not a Chinese room, it's our living room. So this thing sits in the middle of our living room, and it's really a highlight. What you see there, I think it's on the bottom right, you see stamps. These are Chinese stamps with my Chinese name, Bolerin on it.
Right, and the ancient Chinese calculator.
Exactly,
here.
Chinese calculator. So I'm a physicist by education, so definitely I have to have a Chinese calculator.
Yes.
This is a teacup, which is a couple. So these are, I think, 2 birds which are entangling. This is a gift for couples when they marry.
The newlywed.
Exactly, and I think this was a gift from a friend of ours in China who says this is kind of the marriage between us and China.
Wow, that's so sweet.
So it's very nice.
And also the terracotta warriors.
I got an edition from Sun Tzu, The Art of War, the book, and it's written on bamboo in traditional Chinese.
Wow.
So it's a roll, and this is a very precious gift which sits in our library.
And you just mentioned your Chinese name, Bolerin. Did you choose it for yourself? Do you have any idea what actually it means for each character?
Sure. I could even
write it. Maybe we can do it after when we sign it.
We can give it a try. If I'm not mistaken, Bo is the Bo, which is the doctor Bo, which is an educated person.
Yes, comprehensive knowledge.
Knowledge. The Le is, I think, it's a good person.
Happy, joyful.
And Ren is
minimalist.
Exactly.
Lovable.
So, it's a lovable person. And I've been told whenever somebody sees my name, it's a good name. So I like it as well.
And you're widely considered as a technology heavyweight with over 3 decades in the technology industry and also with a PhD in physics. So what do you foresee might be some of the emerging trends in technology and innovation in the coming years?
So one trend, which is technology driven, but this is more a market trend, I believe, is circular economy. If you really want to save resources, and not only energy, but any kind of resources, I think you have to think about how you recycle in a different manner. Technology-wise, I mean, needless to say, AI technology, the models are super disruptive. Any piece of software which is written today has to be reinterpreted in the way how you would do it if you would develop it AI native from the very first place, which is a completely different way of looking at it. We talk about AI agents, which are penetrating all our markets in full speed. There was one person saying to me, Roland, I think we are the last generation who manage only humans. The next generation of manager will manage humans and AI agents. Think about that. This is very disruptive. And then you have topics like quantum computing. And if you go to the energy space, people talk about fusion technology, which might come. So there are a lot of innovations which we will see, I do believe, also in my lifetime.
Dr. Bush, thank you so much for your time and for sharing with us your very insightful views on your development strategy here in China and also your observation about technological advancement. Greatly appreciated.
And thank you very much for this very interesting interview.
Thank you.